Hey guys, so this is my family tree for the My Peeps activity. I actually already recorded this, but somehow my thing didn't upload. So I'm going over this again, and hopefully you guys will get to see it soon, because I know it's a little late, but hopefully it'll go over smoothly. But as you can see, I go back only three generations beyond myself, so only 4 generations back, and only 3 on my dad's side. And I'll get into the reasoning for that, but I guess I'll start with me. My parents are Les and Angie Seasholtz. Angela Faye is my mom's. Angela Faye Glenn is my mom's maiden name, and Lester Raymond Seasholtz is my dad. So I'll start with my dad and on his side. So Lester Raymond Seasholtz is my dad. He's in marketing, and he got his associates actually in architecture. But what brought him down to Georgia, because he was born in Pennsylvania, was he got a job with Alcoa Company, which is a big architecture type company. They actually do buildings for industrial buildings. So the sub tier of Alcoa that he works for is called Conair, which actually, if you look around campus at UGA, on the bottom of the doors, you'll see his company name. And that is the company he works for at Conair, so that's pretty cool. But he graduated with his associates in architecture, and that led him to Alcoa, and then he moved from Pennsylvania to Michigan, and then down to here, and this is where he met my mom. But yeah, so that's him. Beyond that are my grandparents on his side, Robert Seasholtz, and my Grammy, Joyce Seasholtz. Joyce Arend is her maiden name, or was her maiden name. But I'll start with my Grammy. So she was a nurse, so obviously she went to nursing school and got her higher education degree in that way. She was born in Pennsylvania and has 3 kids. My dad, of course, my uncle Craig, and my aunt Luann. And she was married to Robert Seasholtz, my grandpa, but they divorced really early in my dad's life, and probably before the age of 10, to where not a ton is known about him, because he apparently became much of a recluse and separated himself after they got divorced. But yeah, so my grandpa Robert, he was in engineering, according to my dad. As I said, he didn't have a close relationship with him due to the divorce, but I say that with question marks because he worked on airplanes, and not more like a machinist or a mechanic would, but more of like, here, let's make this more dynamic and make the wings better and such. So obviously he had to have higher education for that, and he was born in Pennsylvania as well. As I mentioned, not much is known beyond them, because my grandpa Robert, he was divorced from my Grammy, who we're actually close to, and again, we don't know much about that side. And my Grammy, Joyce, she is going through the early stages of Alzheimer's, and my dad did not have much on her side to offer, to where asking her more details was a little bit hard to come across. But I do know culturally we are not completely sure if we are German or if we are Dutch. We have seen our last name derived from both. So when people ask me that, I say both. Everybody in my family has spoken English and has been generation through generation in Pennsylvania. But that's my dad's side. So on my mom's side is my mom, Angie. So she's in chemical sales support, and she got her associates from Truett McConnell. And she has 2 kids with my dad, who they've been married for 26 years. So the two kids are myself and my older sister, Rebecca. But some fun facts about her: she was actually born in Decatur, and I never actually put it together that that's where she was born until one day when I was taking my parents to go see my school. She passed by a building and said, "Oh, look, this is where I had my childhood checkups," which was pretty cool. So it came full circle with that. But yeah, she was born in Decatur, and she met my dad when he was working down here in Atlanta. But that's that. So her parents are Isla Faye Anderson, Isla Faye Glenn, as she was known, and Donald Glenn. And they had 5 kids together, but lost 2 during childhood, one to cancer and one to a tragic bus accident. But my grandma Faye, she worked in food services, and she was born in Alabama, and she only got her GED. But she moved to Georgia to work at Frito-Lay, and looking for work in food services. And that's where she met my granddaddy, Donald Glenn, and he was a machinist, and he's from Lexington, Georgia, which actually is about 45 minutes to the east side of Athens, down 78, so not too far from here. And he only got his high school diploma, but he did serve in the Navy during the Korean War, so that's pretty cool. My grandma Faye, her parents were Estelle Fawcett, Estelle Anderson, and Lester Anderson. Estelle was a homemaker, and she had 7 kids, and she was born in Alabama. But unfortunately, she died about a month or 2 after my grandma was born, just from complications of childbirth. So after she passed, my great-grandfather, Lester, ended up remarrying and having 3 more kids. And he was born in Alabama as well. He served in the Army from 1942 to 1945, and what he really did for a living was farming. But as you could probably tell and probably guess, they didn't have much education, according to my mom, because both of my grandparents on her side have passed. They had maybe a high school diploma, so that's something to keep in mind on her side. But yeah, so on my granddaddy Glenn's side, his parents were Grace Holloman, Grace Glenn, when she married, and Roy Glenn. They had 4 kids together. My granddaddy and his 3 siblings. But Grace worked in a textile mill, but was really more of a homemaker. She was born in Georgia. And she maybe, again, had her high school diploma, according to my mom. And then on his father, he was in farming, and he was born and raised in Georgia as well. So, and he also only maybe had his high school diploma. So on that side, you can see education was not as higher up, I guess, as it was on my dad's side. But I know both of my parents made it a very big priority for both me and my sister to get a really good education, so that's something. But on my mom's side, as you can probably tell, we're Southern through and through. Way back when, we have like Scottish roots on her side, but we've spoken English and have been, again, just a typical Southern white family for generations and generations. But yeah, so that is my Peeps tree for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.